not just transparency, but accessibility.
Provide accessibility to those unable to attend in person.
The Americans with Disabilities Act mandates reasonable accommodations to ensure that individuals with disabilities are not excluded.
If they can't hear the meeting live in person, then they have to wait a full month for the transcribed minutes and the approved minutes to hit the website. That's a whole month.
The township itself includes a disclaimer acknowledging that these transcripts may contain errors or omissions and should not be considered authoritative.
Let's not forget that we live stream the entire billing process of this building.
The fire department resumes its meetings.
Our own Deer Lake School Board live streams their meetings.
I was able to communicate at Marshall Township and answer questions during their meeting through Zoom.
Tennessee versus Lane, which affirmed back in 2004 that failing to provide reasonable accommodations for individuals with disabilities in accessing public activities is a violation of their fundamental rights.
There's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons, and there's even more question marks. Different municipalities have different issues that crop up. Some of them had live streaming and switched because of issues that cropped up. I could go into some details about what some of those pros and cons are, but to be truthful, we're still working through this. We have the cameras right there. Problem with that, though, I can tell you right now, is we still don't have access anywhere outside this building. So what we have to find out, and I've been working with our IT company on this, there has to be some module that goes in there that accesses the outside. Yeah, well, during the COVID years, the most residents we ever COVID for those 14 months, the most we ever had on a regular month was 5 people. When there's one issue, when that came up, we had 37 people there. As soon as that topic was raised and the board discussed it, and they moved on, I watched people drop off, and it went back up to the normal. Like nobody stuck around for that.
Yeah, most people might not stick around for the whole meeting. They might have one out of our 29 line items that is of particular interest to them.
And some municipalities, some school districts across this country have had problems with live streaming. They have legal issues with live streaming. And what I'm trying to make sure that we do as a community is that we do our due diligence. Turn a good intention, something that's good intention, into something that's an unintended consequence. And some of them actually came up with alternatives altogether, different from live streaming, which also takes care of some of the issues that the residents raised. We have the recordings of the meetings. I'm sure we can put those on. There's a lot of different things, but right now I'm not in a position to give you anything definitive. I can tell you one thing is, as much as people say that it contributes to participation, it actually decreases participation because where you have a resident who's absolutely willing to come up to that microphone like we just saw today and speak directly to the Board of Supervisors to their faces, when you put them out in front of the world, it inhibits them.
I think there's also some privacy issues. People that stand up and they state their name and address and now everybody knows and fail to agree with that subject. We don't live in a great world, there's so much negativity everywhere.
I've heard horror stories on the videos. If you don't have an up-to-date system, it doesn't work real well. People start screaming about that because they can't listen to it or reply to it.
You know, the first thing I think the board needs to identify is what problem exactly are we trying to solve, because it isn't just transparency. There's, like I said, you can take care of one problem, and taking care of one problem create 5 others.
I think it's good for communications in the township, transparency, accountability.
I think in some of those statements that says that accountability and transparency doesn't already exist, and it does. So you look at it, but every word is transcribed. Of course, there's always a disclaimer on everything, but so I think that's important. The transcripts are there. That this whole thing about no transparency, no accountability, I don't agree with that at all.